There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this webinar by Insights IAS for our OGP 2020 and core batch students. I hope all of you are doing fine. I know it's been a while since we were all together, but here we are again, albeit in different circumstances, but together. I know most of you are in touch with your mentors or Vinay sir via WhatsApp, Telegram or calls, but after a long time, we have joined together. I know even in these tough times, we are all joined together because we are all driven by the same thing, the desire to excel and the commitment to overcome all the obstacles. So this webinar is facilitated the same, the desire to excel and the commitment to overcome all the desires and to help you all score very well in prelims as well as in your mains exam. So now I hand over the screen to our beloved director, Vinay sir, so that he can address you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing great. Great to see you, all of you here. And unfortunately, due to COVID situation, we have to meet this way. Wish we could all meet physically in our classrooms. But over these last 3-4 months, I think we have kept you busy with various initiatives. So Insta revision plan, 75 days plan, and the second revision plan had enough targets for you to practice on day-to-day basis. And at the same time, some of the classes which we hadn't completed, we have started giving videos as well. And now you know that prelims is on October 4th. Don't have any doubt about whether prelims is going to be conducted or not. Believe that it is definitely going to be happening. So there is no reason, because October first week situation will be more or less normal, and UPSC will take all the measures and conduct the examination. Don't have doubt about that, because having doubts that whether prelims is going to be conducted or not will hamper your studies. And during these times, uncertain times, people will start, floating rumors that prelims will not be conducted and all. So you shouldn't listen to all those rumors. Whatever be the situation, just focus on your studies. Make sure that you go on improving in all your areas, optional, prelims, course, etc. And we have increased the number of prelim tests. You are given access to online prelims portal. So there are n number of tests. Just keep yourself busy by retaking examinations again and again. And last year, we conducted something called, for the first time, prelims boosters classes. So these prelims booster were conducted in order to help students definitely clear prelims, give boost to their preparation, especially with respect to prelims. Fortunately, we could see very good result. Around 130 plus OGP students from last batch cleared prelims thanks to booster classes. So these booster classes, we are happy to announce. I think you have already got the timetable. We are going to conduct it from July 15th, and you must attend these classes. These classes are not like regular classes. These are only prelims oriented, where you will be given important facts which are important from the prelims point of view. You will have to revise whatever is given in the classroom. You will have to listen and take down running notes. You will get, I think, recorded classes also. You can watch it again, note down all the points. make sure that whatever is given in the classroom is thoroughly revised, and our team is well prepared. Like we have been preparing for these things, uh, and the content is going to be very good, especially from prelims point of view. Don't miss this, because based on my experience, I'm telling some of the questions actually came directly from these class notes. So our faculty, our mentors, as you may be knowing, they have immense experience with respect to, and they have, when they were preparing, they used to score 120, 130, some of them even 115 prelims. So they know where to focus and which content to give you. So don't miss it, and definitely go for it. Then coming to whatever is happening around you, and some of you may be preparing from home, some of you may be preparing from in isolation, maybe staying in a room. Now, again, unfortunately, Bangalore is under lockdown. Uh, if at all it is possible, you should go back to your home. But if food is not an issue, stay back in Bangalore and prepare. But in these times, what is more important is the focus, the internal motivation, about which Aarti ma'am will be talking about. But just briefly to put, never give up, never waver in your determination in clearing this examination. All of you can definitely clear in this attempt itself. So you will have to believe in yourself, and you know that you have plenty of time. And also after prelims, you have nearly 3 months for mains as well. Right now, we have already told you to focus on optional and other writing things, and you can participate in secure, write few answers. It doesn't matter like whether it is going to be a first attempt. Try to be at your best, competitive best. Just keep dreaming about getting a rank in top 100, and don't just think about, let me clear prelims this attempt and see mains later and all. Don't have that attitude. Your attitude must be to go for the kill, go for the rank itself. It is all in the mind. The more you are determined, you can actually sail through. And this has been tough for us also, insights, like to keep everything going when we are not together in one building is also difficult. But we keep going because our focus is on you. So we need to ensure that your consistency remains constant and you keep on studying regularly. So that is our aim. And also we have been taking care of the mental aspect also. And people who are in regular touch with me, I keep motivating them. And you can message, feel free to message anytime, call me anytime. And I gave my email ID also. Nearly 2000 emails were received, and all the emails are answered. So don't think that it is always your initiative. You should come from within. You should be willing to seek guidance. You should be willing to talk to your mentor. Just persist. If once or twice they don't reply, or even I don't reply, you will have to persist. We will always get back to you and make sure that you are in the right direction. So thank you for joining this webinar. Now I will hand over to Aarti ma'am, Sir Sudeep sir, and we will be speaking about the program. Over to Sudeep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for arranging this webinar to all the students, sir. And thank you, Faris. Guys, I hope everyone is doing fine. It's been a long time that we have spoken, actually. So we do understand the uncertainty that is happening, and we do understand the anxiety and the fear that is there with you people on what is going to happen in the future. But as sir told, October, the exam is going to happen. So make sure that you please stay focused about it. Coming to the booster classes, sir has already given you a brief of what booster classes is all about. I just cannot emphasize how important this booster classes is, especially in this uncertain times, right? So see, booster classes, the previous, sir just gave you the statistics. Previously, we made 400 OGP students to attend the booster classes. 2019 was the first time that, we started this initiative of booster classes where 400 students attended and more than 100 students cleared this, right? So it is 1 out of 4 students who are freshers who are clearing prelims by attending the booster classes. So sir has actually increased the benchmark this time, and he is actually hoping that 1 out of 2 students clear the prelims, whoever is attending the booster classes this time. So it is very, very important for you people to attend these classes. Do not confuse these classes as, a crash course or a marathon classes that usually happens in the market, right? So there, the entire focus is on finishing the syllabus with very restricted, limited amount of time. So the focus is more on less time, more syllabus. That is not how booster classes are designed at all, right? The booster classes is purely done in a way teaching is done, but the teaching is done only with the prelims perspective. That's it, nothing else. So it is a normal teaching, but done only with one thing in mind, and the thing is to make you clear prelims, right? So this is an initiative that is very unique, and please make use of this opportunity. This is very unique to only OGP students. We don't allow others to take this. So I hope you make use of it. Now, coming to the faculties aspect of it, the faculties who have dealt with it, I have dealt with it previously also. They were the one, these are the faculties who had taken it last time, are the ones who are going to be taking it this time also. Now, about the faculties, they are highly experienced and highly competitive, like they are highly competent. These people have always cleared prelims whenever they attended the exams. They are not like out of the trend of UPSC. They understand the trends. They are constantly being updated about the trends. You can actually see their competency in the how to approach videos of YouTube, right? If you go to the YouTube and see these videos, you can see the competent level and how what expertise they possess in prelims especially, right? So they are the ones who will be taking this. They have properly designed this in a way for you people to make it easier for you for prelims preparation. So that is about the faculties. Now, see, students, there will be a lot of pressures who are feeling that, irrespective of how many times I study, I'm not getting the confidence, right? I'm not able to motivate myself. I don't know whether I'll clear prelims or not. So I think that is majorly the part of the students who are facing this problem, especially the freshers. And then there are seniors who are losing that enthusiasm to study the same thing again and again, right? You're already feeling bored of studying the same books. So you're feeling like, what should I do? So irrespective of you being a senior or you being a fresher, I would always tell you people to go and attend these classes, because it is just a matter of 3 hours every day. You're sitting there, you're listening to the class, you're coming back home, and you're going to just recollect all the things that were done in the class and then solve a lot of MCQs, right? So it is in a way, a methodology that will help you calm yourself. It will help you build your confidence, not in a day, but once you complete the entire program that is going to run for 1.5 months. So that will actually help you build that confidence, and then it will actually create that environment that is actually needed for you to overcome this uncertainty. So all in all, what I would say is, please make sure that you use this opportunity. You take advantage of the institute, the Insights team, and Vinay sir, and use this as a medium to keep yourself motivated. All right. So I hope everyone is doing good. So please make sure that you stay focused and prepare well. All right. So I would hand it back over to Faris sir, and I hope I have done my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudeep sir, for telling briefly about how to approach our soon to be starting booster classes. So let us be honest here. Things have been tough in the past couple of months, and I would be lying if none of us were scared. Obviously, we are all scared, tense, anxious. And upon that, we are facing one of the toughest exams there is in the country, or probably in the world. So we are facing this tough exam in these tough times, and it is common to feel anxious, to feel uncertain, to feel stressed out. So in order to deal with this anxiety and stress in these uncertain times, I would now ask Aarti ma'am to address and give us certain tips for our students on how to deal in these uncertain times. Over to you, Aarti ma'am.
A very good morning to all of you. And I'm sure not only the students, every one of us in some or the other way, we are, facing this fear, anxiety, and moreover, we are so uncertain about what's going to happen in our future. We really don't know what's going to come up next, or, and I'm seeing in these times, most of the old students are reaching out to me. Some of them I see that, they might have taken a break for a year or so, and now since the lockdown and things like that, the exams getting postponed, a lot of this time is going on, and they are really under tremendous pressure of how I'll manage this whole thing. So some of the students are also reaching out to me saying that with this uncertainty there is so much of fear being generated, and I don't know what to do about it, or how do I manage this fear. Or many of, at least one or two students also said, I'm totally angry with this whole situation. I mean, why is that? I had planned at least for so many months to get into this or go through this exam, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, everything is out of my control, and what do I do now? Or even finding some motivation to get up every day and do certain things. or sit back and get my focus back onto studies. So I'm seeing that students are coming up with this, and apart from this, there are a lot of working employees also reaching out to me saying even though they've started working, getting back to work, it's not the same. So there's something that has changed inside all of us, and we are not really sure of what's happening with our mindset, or what's happening inside our body, what's happening inside our mind. So we really are not sure about what to do now. So when it comes to what do I do, handling my fear, handling my uncertainty, and I'm not able to sleep. I'm seeing most of the normal people also going through a lot of these changes because their daily schedules are changed. They're not able to sleep, they're not able to eat well, and so there's a lot of this chaos happening right now, and I totally understand in some or the other way you might be relating to whatever I said, and of course there might be many more things than this that we all are going through. But what I would suggest, or rather when I'm in sessions like this, what I've always told all of us is, when it comes to our mind has this normal way of coping up with things. Is we look at this rule that's called as an 80-20 rule, because 80% of the time we are trying to manage things, we are trying to cope up with our day-to-day hassles, we are trying to keep ourselves motivated. I'm seeing a lot of these people also getting up and saying, okay, I'll do something about it today. But then there is something which we also tend to do, is that extra 20% efforts that we need to put to excel through this whole process. I mean, even this COVID situation, I know everybody is managing it, but there is something which we have to put in, like an extra 20%. And what is that extra 20%? I might just give you an example and say that you might be having 10 friends with you. I mean, I'm just putting it a figure. You might be having 10 friends, but in that 10 friends there are only 2 friends with whom you talk and you really feel good about it. I mean, you'll feel 100% satisfaction by talking only to that 2 friends rather than those 8 friends remaining. So our mind has this overall method of having this rule. So I think in this time what we all need to do is work upon that extra 20%. I mean, whatever you're doing, just do a little bit more so that we can all sail through this situation. So I think applying this 80-20 rule to everything, even if you're studying for whatever hours and you feel that I'm not able to, I don't feel satisfied doing this kind of work, just push yourself for next 20% of that and reach out to that. I think a little bit of push from our end is a very important thing that we can do. Second most important thing that we can do is, we all are, if we are feeling anxious, if we are feeling, there's no motivation behind all of this, if we have to chunk down as to, what is this fear trying to tell me, and what I have seen in my practice is none of the emotions are bad. Even if you're feeling angry, even if you're feeling fear, they're all not negative emotions. We don't have to just say fear is not good or anger is not good or feeling depressed is not good. The whole point is just go back and check with yourself, what is this fear trying to tell you? And remember, fear, if you look at that, fear is always protective. We have fear because it is coming to us to protect us from something. So just try to find the positive intention of that fear, and the moment you get to know the positive intention of fear, I think you will sail through this, you'll work through this. So even if you're feeling angry or fear or uncertainty, and uncertainty basically comes from, if you chunk down, it's basically the fear. So try to find the positive intention. What's the positive intention? What is this fear trying to do to me? And once you find that, then there will be a drastic shift, and then you'll start looking, oh, the fear is trying to protect me from this, so let me find out what are the other behavioral choices that I can have instead of bringing up this fear. So fear, uncertainty, anger, everything is good. You need to just understand what's the positive intention. I think that's how we can look at it. And again, there are different techniques that we can apply in our day-to-day lives to manage this. Number one being, 15 minutes of silence and focus on your breathing, which is very, very essential, at least now during these times. And exercising, eating well. I think these are few things that I could tell you. If there is anything more to let me know, I'm here. Yeah. And thank you.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am, for reassuring us that there is an opportunity in every crisis. Now, Vinay sir is going to again address you. Over to you, Vinay sir.
Yeah. So I just wanted to tell few things. One is these booster classes will be made available to IPM students and core batch students as well. So you will get the access to these classes. Please make use of them. And also thank you for wonderful tips by Aarti ma'am. And just one thing I would like to add is that the fear is, I'll just read a quote. I just got hold of Vivekananda book here. Fear is death, fear is sin, fear is hell, fear is unrighteousness, and fear is wrong life. All the negative thoughts and ideas that are in the world have proceeded from this evil spirit of fear, right? And like there are many quotes like which Vivekananda gives. Face the brutes. That is a lesson for all life. Face the terrible. Face it boldly. Like the monkeys, the hardships of life fall back when we cease to flee before them. So, like over the years, now I have found a way to overcome the tougher situations by remaining calm, by remaining relaxed, and I can also try to remain calm, relaxed by just not magnifying these problems. Don't make them big problems. Whenever we try to make them big, it is mostly from within our minds, and it is the surrounding circumstances which make it more complicated. Just within yourself, believe in your ability. Whatever be the situation, you can always overcome. Even the deepest depression, you can actually overcome with lots of willpower, with lots of determination. So love your life, and I'm sure like most of you are very healthy and staying fit and fine. Like work on the tips given by ma'am. Just be positive, be happy, and when you are relaxed, I don't know, something happens to you, and the world makes everything easy for you. The success will just follow you. So over to Faris.
Now we'll be starting the live Q&A session. I can see already there are a few questions. So just a quick instructions regarding the Q&A session. You can ask questions to anybody and we will answer it. So here you can see the Q&A box. You have to go there and type out whatever question you have for us, and based on that we will be answering. So one thing you have to keep in mind, these questions which are common for all will be taken up live. If it is a question just particular to you or particular to one subject, we will just type the answer there itself. So if there are any common questions which can be addressed for all aspirants, we'll be taking it up live. So kindly, whatever the questions you have, please send them in the Q&A box. Already there is one question here. The first question by Rinki Pandey. She says that, hello sir, happy to see you all after a long time. Happy to see you too, Rinki. Sir, my problem is not able to motivate myself to study for long hours during these times. Please guide us. I direct this question to Aarti ma'am. Aarti ma'am, she is having trouble motivating herself to study for long hours. Please.
Yeah, Rinki. Yeah. So I understand the very fact that, holding on motivation for a longer time, I mean, sitting at home, basically when you're going to the school or college or in your library, you have this external stimulations for you to sit and study, because when you see other people studying, you automatically gain that back and you start studying. But I understand when you're sitting at home and trying to maintain that same thing when you don't have these external stimulus, what you can look at it is, how can you motivate yourself from within? Because you can't always depend on an external key to motivate. Just like, good old days, we had these scooters which needed a self starter. I mean, we need to use the kick to start the scooters, but nowadays we have those button starters where we need to have a self starter within ourselves. And how do we have this? basically we have these self-starters within us, but we are not aware of it. And now, how do we become aware of it? Say, for example, if making someone happy is what makes you happy, is the rule. If I'm taking that, if I do something for others and then I'm happy, that means whatever you're trying to do is in alignment with what is very important for you. So for you, being happy is important, and that's why you go and help others. In the same way, if this studies and then sitting for long hours and start studying to read something is very, very important to you, if it is aligned to what makes you happy, then every time you need to bring that key, that yes, I am reading because it makes me happy, and it makes me happy because I'll read, I'll understand, I'll go through the exam, and you have your final focus that you need to clear this exam. So you need to bring in that self-starter key, saying that this makes me happy, that's why I'm doing it. So bring this key again and again to you as a reminder, or maybe you can just write it in front of you wherever you're sitting on the reading desk, that why are you doing this, why are you sitting and studying, why studying is so important to you, why are you reading. Just put those few thoughts in front, and whenever you feel that you're lacking that motivation, please look into that. Please have those keys inside of you. I think that should help. But also remember that what I told is just the 20% of not having motivation, but the rest of the 80% is at an unconscious level. And you need to, it's more of self exploration. Why aren't you motivated? What I told you was the 20% where you can find the keys, internal keys, and work. The rest of it also is like, it's just the tip of the iceberg. 80% why you're not motivated might be some unconscious reasons which can be explored. Yeah, so which can be explored, and for that I'm available, and through proper channel we can get back in touch. You can get in touch with me and we'll see how we can go through this if there is anything. Yeah.
Vinay sir would like to add to this. Sir, over to you, Vinay sir.
Ma'am has pretty much added so many points. I would like to tell Rinki, hope you are doing well, and many others also facing the same problem. The motivation is difficult to come from within. How much of we try, sometimes it is very difficult. But what must keep us going is the larger vision that you must be having. Right. Think beyond IAS. Think, not just IAS, not just in the outcome of the examination. So don't keep thinking about how to clear prelims. Will I clear prelims, or will I clear mains, or how will I do well in the interview, or just about getting a rank. You have to think beyond the rank. The amount of work you can do as an IAS or IPS, IRS or IFS officer is enormous. Imagine now. Look at the situation around you. It is these officers, in addition to doctors, nurses, and other health workers, they are actually at the front line and managing the whole situation. And the kind of work you can do for the country, for the society, for our people, exceeds everything, whatever you are trying to do now. So studying for 8 to 10 hours is actually nothing when compared to what you can actually do as an officer. So to reach that position of a huge responsibility, just ignore whatever is happening around you. Just take it as think of them as small disturbances, and just work your way through this thing. You will have to tell again and again yourself, no matter what is happening around me, I'm going to be in that position to do something good for everyone. So I think so that should motivate you enough to just focus on studies. Next question, Faris.
Yes. Next question, we have quite a similar question. Madhusudan has asked this. Even Madhu BC has asked this. This question I am directing it towards Shailesh sir. Hi sir, thank you for guiding us in these uncertainty times. My question is, how to overcome current affairs in general and economy topics in particular? Shailesh sir, kindly answer.
Yeah. So many of my students have asked a similar question to me. With regard to current affairs, there is a general doubt that because the exam is postponed now, will there be more weightage, less weightage, all these things. But I would say that our strategy towards the exam should not change because it is postponed. Only part of that strategy should change, that how we are allocating time for whatever we are studying. So in that sense, don't think about weightage for these things. And coming to clearly current affairs part, whatever I've told you in classes with regard to current affairs, how to prepare for them, you can follow the same thing. That means make sure that you read the newspaper every day as quickly as possible. And for revision purposes, you have to keep a particular notes, add all the current affairs related aspects to your syllabus wise notes itself. Economy related current affairs, imagine something related to Atmanirbhar Bharat comes in newspaper or in Insights website will post the current affairs. Add it back to your notes of economy itself. So basically create an integrated single notes, and you have to revise before prelims, you have to revise it 4 to 5 times. Keep this as target. Don't keep more than one source for current affairs. In newspaper, like I said, you have to only glance through it so that you know clearly what is happening. Detailed study of current affairs, you can do it from a single source. I would suggest Insights Monthly Magazine or Insights website, where daily we update the current affairs. With regard to economy, some issues are there. For instance, whatever was there in economic survey, a lot of those things may not be true anymore. So in that sense, you have to be updated about what exactly is happening. Keep track of economy related news from Insights website itself will post whatever comes into PIB, but update yourself based on that. And whatever you have studied earlier in economic survey or previous news, you have to update it and change it accordingly. If that you do in a single notes and you're able to revise it, that would be sufficient for you to answer any questions on economy in particular or current affairs in general also. So I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, Silas sir. Then many of the students are asking regarding their scores in prelims, like Sarvesh has asked and Vanishka has asked. So this question is to Tanmay sir, who is our prelims expert. Although I have read all the necessary books required for prelims with the prior analysis of previous year questions, I'm not able to score 72 above 72 in mock test. How can I work on it? Similarly, Vanishka says her range is around 85 to 105 in every test. So they want to know how to improve their prelims scores. Over to you, Tanmay sir.
Thank you, Faris sir. Actually, first they have to analyze where they are committing the mistakes. So it's not about the scores. So in which are all the questions they have committed the mistake. Once they take the test, they must go through the paper and they actually identify their weak areas. Like for example, although they have read n number of times, probably they have not concentrated on the core dimensions of the topic, or probably they don't have much conceptual clarity on certain topics. So first they must revisit the paper, the paper they have taken the test. So after that, they will come to know the weaker areas, like where they are actually committing the mistakes, whether they are getting absolute conceptual clarity, or probably they might miss the core dimensions itself. Once they go through it, they will come to know weaker areas. They must revisit the concepts once again. And along with that, they should not aim to score out of out marks in the prelims test series. There are certain questions which are consciously drafted in such a way that those questions or those concepts will be a learning for them. So they have to take it as a learning. So they should, both the things should go hand in hand. So one is identifying the weak areas and learning new concepts through the test series. So both of these things would ideally help on the D-Day. So that is the overall strategy students must follow.
Thank you, Tanmay sir. Next question is from Arushi. I want Vinay sir to answer this question. I have developed a backache over the last year while sitting continuously for studies. I'm trying out yoga daily, but it isn't helping. It also affects my sitting hours capability badly. What do I do? And again, she has a second question. Both my parents are working. It becomes quite hectic and difficult for me to take out time to study. Therefore, amidst all the work, also my parents are very short-tempered. Most of the times, they do support my dream to qualify, but it gets defeated amidst almost everyday quarrels. I end up losing confidence in myself every day. It takes up a lot of my time. How do I overcome this and make myself immune to all this and just study? I'm 26 years old and I don't have much time to qualify. Over to you, Vinay sir.
Yeah. Uh, First of all, very sorry to know that, and I hope you are recovering well, and I hope you will recover very fast. There may be problem with the chair also sometimes because we have reading rooms and like if you are in Bangalore, we can give you a chair also. They are very good. Hope you are in Bangalore. You can come and get the chair. If the chair is the problem. Secondly, I think physiotherapy will definitely help you. So you can definitely approach a physio. Don't ignore the problem. Okay, don't ignore the approach a physiotherapist and get the exercises. And as I told in the beginning, the mind has control over everything. If you are really very determined, willing, you can overcome the physical pain also and whatever the stress you are undergoing. When it comes to uh, the parental pressure or not having very conducive atmosphere at home, what needs to be done is you will have to tell yourself time and again that you are preparing with a strong purpose. Now you have a purpose, you have a larger goal, you have a larger purpose. So be ready to take risk, be ready to be so determined that you just become dumb and deaf to everyone around you. The best way is to silence. You just maintain the silence. Don't never react to what is happening in your home, and never react within yourself and outside also. Never talk about it. Never think about it. Now you cannot do much about it. If you get involved, it destroys everything. The best way is to endure whatever suffering or pain you are going through, but while completely focusing on the exam, because once you get into IAS, it is a whole different world. Once you clear the examination, even parents might stop fighting also, because you will solve many of the problems by succeeding in this exam. So your success is extremely important to calm down everything, the situation around you, and also for you to overcome all the problems. And with respect to pain, definitely take care, don't ignore it. And the best way to deal with this through physiotherapy, I think. So I hope you will recover very fast.
Thank you, Vinay sir. Next question is by a student regarding ICANN initiative. This question I directed to Himanshu sir. Sir, ma'am, I'm currently following ICANN initiative by Kritika madam since April. Found it very useful. My question is how to revise current affairs. I mean, she means the ICANN current affairs effectively. So over to you, Himanshu.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible? So regarding current affairs revision, let's say ICANN is a Monday to Friday initiative. So what you should do effectively for effective revision, watch the video from Monday to Friday, and while watching, note down the current affairs section wise or topic wise. Note it down under like GS1, GS2, GS3, or whatever information is related to prelims. You note it down under different subject heads or topic heads. Then you should revise the same content on Saturday and Sunday, because this initiative is from Monday to Friday. So revise it well on Saturday and Sunday. At the same time, you complement the information from current affairs ICANN from daily current affairs on our website. So when you go through it, have that sense of urgency. Be very focused and go through it and read as though you have to filter out that what should I take from my exam point of view, from prelims point of view, or from mains point of view, and keep a day. So revising it at a regular interval is most and best effective way. Then with respect to ICANN, we are releasing the topics covered. So quickly you should go through the topics covered, and you should try to recall that what all I have read since April, whether I'm able to recall that, whether I'm able to reproduce it in my answers and not or not. Parallelly, you are writing and discussing the questions in under ICANN initiative. So you should try to recall it while writing answers. So more revision on Saturday and Sunday, writing it under subheads of different syllabus subhead, and trying to use it under answer is a better way to revise it. Thank you. Thank you, Faris.
Thank you, Himanshu. Next question to Pradeep sir. This question is from Tamanna. How much time should I give for optional now? I'm not prepared for prelims itself, and I am scared to give times for mains topics. So, Pradeep sir, can you answer this?
Yeah, thank you, Faris sir. As of now, there are 80 odd days left for the preliminary examination, and since last 6 months or so, we have been focusing solely on the prelims perspective. And Tamanna, you think you are quite underprepared for the prelims. So what you can do is you can divide your schedule and try to inculcate the optional preparation into your routine. So you can dedicate, if you're studying for 10 odd hours, you can dedicate 6 hours for prelims and 4 hours for optional preparation. Because after prelims, we'll have just 3 months for the mains related preparation. And within those 3 months, you'll have to prepare for 7 papers, 4 GS papers, 2 optional paper and 1 essay. So 3 months would be kind of insufficient for the very serious and a complete preparation. So now what I would like to advise you is that try to inculcate optional preparation into your daily routine, and then try to complete at least 1 optional paper. So you can study it, make notes out of it, and then you can start answering the previous year questions and show it to your mentor. And then you can start making notes of the topics which you think you are weak at. So this is how you can utilize the time for at least for next 1 month. Try to do both prelims and optional simultaneously, and remaining 50 days you can entirely focus on the prelims oriented preparation. So that is I hope I answered your question. Over to Faris sir.
Thank you, Pradeep sir. Next question is by Supriya. She asks, is it feasible to make notes in the upcoming prelims or mains, or the time should be invested in reviewing preparation instead? So take this question to Ashish sir.
Thank you, Faris sir. Consider Supriya, if we consider the upcoming days with respect to the notes making aspect of prelims and mains, then I think the notes should be made in a point-wise manner, especially focused on the focus from the UPSC previous year questions. Right. First, we should know the content. We should make a topic, consider a topic, and only make 5-point notes. That's it. For example, what is the concept definition for mains? 5 points for what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. Example. That's it for mains. Considering prelims point of view, if you are considering that topic, you should know what can be asked, basics about that. What can be asked for the prelims? If we know that what the question was earlier asked with respect to certain area with respect to this, considering this area, what were the previous questions? Depend upon that, 1 pointer notes should be made for prelims. This will definitely help you for the revision purpose for both, that is prelims and mains. And preparing this in an integrated way for from prelims and mains approach for UPSC, this will help you in a longer run. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish sir. Next question is from Pramod. He says, hello sir, happy to see you all. Happy to see you too, Pramod. This question is for Manjunath sir. I studied polity, but I'm not able to recall articles, but the content I can recall is article number. Important, and can you tell me how to prepare for science and technology and environment subject? So, Manjunath sir, can you answer this?
Yes, Faris. With respect to Pramod, hi Pramod, with respect to articles and any other factual points related to polity, what we can do is, especially only from, if we talk from prelims perspective, just make a list of the major important articles, around 40 to 50 articles. Make a list, stick wherever you're reading places, just stick it there. So keep revising it multiple times. So that itself will ensure you that you can recall the important articles. Which now, though normally for prelims it might not be that important, but make sure that you focus on that. But more importantly, what you have to do is, all the important chapters, like some 10 to 15 important chapters are like Parliament or President or Supreme Court, those important crux, because out of if they ask on an average around 13 questions, almost around 10 to 11 questions will be from these chapters. Make sure that you're very confident and very sure about these fundamentals. You revise them multiple times, so that cost benefit ratio is high, so that itself will ensure you that you can tackle polity questions, especially from the prelims perspective. And then it was related to science and tech, Faris.
Environment and ecology.
Okay, environment and ecology, like you have, if you have studied from any source, or if from class notes, whatever you would have make notes. So please make sure that you revise it multiple times. The same concept, like let's say again, factual points can come in environment and ecology, like related to national parks or related to like climate change conventions. Again, the basic point is that wherever you find factuals, make sure that you make a very, very short note in your own points, like let's say keywords or some diagrams, flow charts, mind maps, something like that. And you have to revise that. And with respect to science and technology, as far as I know, what you can do is make sure that you study from one particular source. Like let's say we have insights revision modules with respect to science and technology. Take that. So if you read from that perspective, so all the current affairs issues will be covered, because more or less what happens is in prelims, if you have seen the past 4 or 5 years question papers, most of the questions will be on the current topics, like it might be related to artificial intelligence, or about virtual reality or augmented reality, or related to cryptocurrency, things like that. Mostly UPSC will focus on that. For that perspective, focus on insights revision modules for that. And for basics perspective, probably maybe you can read some basics of physics from NCERTs, basics of biology from NCERTs. So as for, the crux what I'm telling to is, whatever subject you take, either polity or economy or science and tech environment, so keep a focus more on your fundamentals. If your conceptual clarity is very good, and if you revise them multiple times, and if you can identify your weakness, like let's say you might be going wrong in some particular area, like in environment, maybe climate change conventions, you might get confused. National parks, you might get confused. Identify that, revise them multiple times, so that itself will make sure that you can handle that, especially from the prelims perspective. Yes, Faris, over to you, Faris.
This is for Shaman sir. Hi sir, I'm practicing CSAT for 2 hours and still I'm not having that confidence. I always feel that weak in CSAT. Should I increase my timings? What do you, Shaman sir? She's practicing CSAT for 2 hours per day, but she's still not confident. She wants to know if she has to increase her time.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I got the question. Okay, 2 hours you are practicing, Bindu, but you are not still getting up to the mark. Okay. See, 2 hours, what are you doing? That's the thing. The prelims is all about strategy. Okay, both paper 1 and paper 2. How you are strategizing yourself for the mocks. I don't know what you are preparing, but my thing is, if you have attended my class, in the class also I'll be telling in 3 different approaches. That is, one thing is your basics must be strong. Okay, your basics is something addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, whatever you do in every day, like the tables, LCM, your basics HCF, and square numbers, cube numbers. If you practice these things, at least 15 to 20 questions you can attend. Okay, only by practicing these things. Okay, it's all about using your common sense, your presence of mind, and your instincts. If these things based along with the tables, LCM, HCF, the square numbers, cube numbers, the ratio, averages, okay, these basic things up to the 10th level, what you have done, if you are good at these things, 15 to 20 questions you can easily solve in the CSAT. And when it comes to the RC part is all about the analysis. Okay, analysis. And also, see, some of the students I have seen, they depend only on the RC part. Okay, because they study the Hindu newspaper, NCERTs all over the year, and they believe that they are very comfortable in English, they can attend all the questions, and they depend only on the RC part. They prepare lots of RC. But what I say is, in 2017, what happened was, you get 32 questions from RC, okay, reading comprehension, but they were from 27 passages, okay, 27 passages. If you read the 27 passages in a stretch, it will be a mental trauma for you, okay. That's why, do not depend on only one section or one part, okay. You have to attend almost all the, see, certain number of questions has to be, tend to be, it has to be neglected in the CSAT, but some of the questions you have to attend. Okay, and do not take some question which you have not practiced. Do not do the R&D in the exam. Okay, you have to practice the topics. Some topics means there are some. I mean to say there is some blood relationship, directions, distance. Okay, ranking and order, seating arrangements. Okay, time, speed and distance, time and work. There are some 20 to 22 concepts. These are not the topics. Basically, they are the concepts. If you are clear about, and if you have practiced these concepts, you can definitely attend. Your accuracy will be some more 15 to 20 more. Okay, 15 to 20 from your basics. If you have practiced these concepts and you have applied in these topics, then 15 to 20 more your accuracy level will be more. Okay, so totally you will get around 40 questions, and definitely RC part everyone will do some 15 to 20 properly. Okay, 15 to 20. Okay, so around 50 questions you can do it. See, the thing is, you do not attend all the questions. Okay, don't try to attend all the questions. Okay, and also do not be in a hurry. Do not do the R&D of the questions which you have not practiced in your off exam time. Okay, and yeah, work on accuracy. More than attending more and more questions. Okay, try to build your accuracy level. Okay, and also your basics. Concentrate on your basics, irrespective of whichever the stream you are from, the graduation. Your basics must be strong to clear the CSAT. Okay, Faris sir, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm preparing for the 2 years and concept strong, and I have revised the syllabus multiple times. However, when it comes to remembering things that I have studied, due to sheer vastness of the syllabus, the ever-changing current affairs, and the fact that the questions can be asked from any area and any topic, I get overwhelmed and think that the whole exercise is pointless. How can I overcome this? This question I directed to our mentor from Hyderabad, Atif sir.
Yeah, hello Omar. I got your question. I can understand what is your problem in revising all these current affairs. But here you should remember that if you go through the previous year prelims question papers, it's not like we are targeting every minute fact. Whatever the current affairs that UPSC asking, if you put some 5 to 10 questions aside, remaining questions will be from let's say which things we come around on daily basis in the newspapers or in the daily current affairs, which are mostly linked to your basic concepts. Don't focus those some exceptional questions, 5 to 10 questions. Because of those 10 questions, you might be focusing on too many factual things, too many minute parts of the syllabus. So there you might be feeling like depressed. See, every human being has certain limitations, right? We all cannot mug up all the facts. So you have to, if you go through the previous year question papers, the questions are such that most of the questions will be linked from the current affairs, will be linked to the basic concepts. Some 60 questions will be which are very easily doable. 10 questions will be exceptional. You don't have to worry about those 10 questions. Don't too much focus on those, covering those things. And now coming to other questions, since you are preparing from 2 years, same things you will be recurring. If you have seen from the last 2 years, if you have gone through the major broad things, current affairs, what are those things you can see? See, same thing if we talk about the women, it is same thing like surrogacy. It is same thing about the maternity relief things. So most of the if in the last time from the lockdown period, what are the things that are recurring? It is about the MSME or about the PDS, food security. Weren't these same issues that are still there even last 2-3 years ago? So broader things will be same. You don't have to focus on minute factual things. Okay. Now, how to identify whichever is a minute thing, whichever is not too much important, or whichever to be given less attention. One thing, previous year questions is your guide. Second thing, test series papers are designed for this. Okay, you have seen insights as test papers, subject wise and textbook wise. Go through those test papers, go through those current affairs. From those current affairs, you revise, you mug it up. Ensure that you are not missing a current affair from at least from the test papers. Okay, those current affairs should be properly revised. And then other questions, don't worry about the 10 questions. Okay, 10 questions, 15 questions. These questions, it should be like that. You use your knowledge and we apply the concepts, we eliminate the things, and then we arrive at the answer. It's not like we have to mug up everything that is coming in the current affairs. We have to remember every fact and all. So again, question comes here to the strategy. So you have to strategize what all things needs to be studied and what all things should be prioritized and less priority. So these things you need to see out from our test papers. Okay, you will identify whichever is the most important one. You can focus, revise them, and Rest of the 5 to 10 questions are exceptional things. You don't worry much about those things. This is what I say. Okay. I hope
Thank you,
I answered your
Atik sir. Thank you, Atik sir. The next question is from Anil Kumar. He says that, sir, I am doing optional as of now. I am confident of clearing prelims. Is 95 days good enough to prepare for GS mains? And what should be the right approach to get good score in mains examination? This question will be answered by our mentor from Delhi, Ajay sir.
Good morning to all. Good morning to all. I got your question. You have just asked that will 95 days will be enough for clearing the mains exam, and you are confident about prelims as such. Now, first of all, how much optional you have to done? That is important. If you are able to complete around 80 to 90% of the optional before prelims, that would be good enough for you to go for the mains, and you should be able to clear the prelims as well. There should be no doubt regarding the prelims. Then regarding your question for the mains part, 95 days as such are enough if you follow it strictly. We prepare a plan for secure for you, and it gives you around 3.5 months to complete the whole syllabus. You can follow that plan, and you can try to include more topics on the per day basis and customize it as per your syllabus that you cover. And secondly, while you are doing the prelims part, we do it very rigorously and do it very clearly. The concept should be clear because major portion like history, then ancient and medieval, they have overlapping between the mains and the prelims. So if you're able to do them good in the prelims part, then that portion of you, the burden of the mains part is relieved from you. You can just practice those questions and they will help you in gaining more confidence for the mains. Then for the ethics part, you should focus and you should give that time to it. That is the part that is not covered in prelims as well. So in mains part, that you can focus on that thing. Secondly, there are certain areas that you can focus on which can help you optimize your score. For example, the society portion. In our secure initiative, you see, we have a plan that provides you 10 to 12 days in which you can cover the society part. So do go for such portions which are high yielding in the marks wise, because it covers around 80 to 100 marks you can get from the society portion. So focus on those areas which are there that can help you fetch marks in less amount of time. And try for the areas like world history or post independence, try to give it less time because the portion that comes in the mains portion is less. They have less weightage in the mains portion. So the best strategy would be, while going for the prelims, do the overlapping portions very sincerely and very clearly. Secondly, while going for the mains portion after the prelims, see the areas which have more weightage of the marks, focus on those areas first, then go for the rest portions. Then over to Sfari sir.
Yes, sir. Next question is from Pankaj. It says that, sir, I am facing difficulty in reducing my time in answer writing. It's been just a month that I have started practicing answer writing, and still I take around 20 to 30 minutes in writing one answer. Please suggest what I can do to reduce the timing. This question will be answered by Suhas sir.
Thank you, Faris. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So the question here is basically relating the time taken to answer mains question. I see that Pankuri, you have started writing answer just 1 month ago. So definitely, yeah, it will take some time to reduce the time required to answer the question. So firstly, what I would suggest you is like keep a target of 10 minutes as of now for each question, and use the first 30 to 45 seconds to analyze the question. Read the question, reread the question, understand what the question is demanding, right? So there will be a few keywords which will be present. So try and address that particular point. Then next, in case you don't know the concept as of now, read the concept, understand the concept first, and then try to put those make a mind map, like in those 30 to 45 seconds initially. Write down the points which you need to put in the answer, right? And in the next 7.5 to 8 minutes, just write those points in the sentence format. So there is no easy mantra here. The best way is to practice as much as possible. like as the saying goes, practice makes a man perfect. Keep practicing and you will definitely get there at it. Right? Over to you, Faris sir.
Thank you, Suhas sir. Many students, multiple students have been asking regarding their inability to concentrate, their inability their inability to focus, and also especially being stressed out, and among other things. Especially one of the students here asked that one of their neighbors have been diagnosed with COVID-19 and entire building is under seal down. Similarly, most of us have faced problems, like many of my students itself were telling that they were unable to carry their books, and many of us were without books for, let's say, 15 days up to a month. So I would like Aarti ma'am to address how, especially when somebody, their relatives or neighbors, somebody gets diagnosed by COVID-19, and it gets hard to focus and concentrate. Do they overcome this? Aarti ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, so basically, this whole fear or anxiety is getting dominant in our thoughts, because we are thinking or spending most of our energies onto those thoughts. So, like, to develop these feelings, we the thoughts are preceding it. So how do we get it? So we start hearing it from somebody, that somebody has been detected, or one of your family member has been detected COVID positive, or you keep seeing a lot of these media messages, and then these thoughts occupy so much amount of time in your thought process that they tend to develop into a lot of feelings, and those feelings tend to get into our body, because we know that our minds and bodies are connected, and then they become a part of our physiology. So even like fear or anxiety to set into our body, there is a preceding thought, and for that thought you develop those feelings, and those feelings, we are already generating a lot of sensations in our body. Like, when you start, there is many students face this sweating of the palms, or having like IBS or anxiety sets in, and then you'll develop gastritis, migraine, acidity. So these are physiological manifestations of the thoughts and feelings. So now, if we have to work back and look at how do we manage this, number one is we need to work on the physiology, which is easier. So if you're feeling a lot of anxiety in your, it's manifesting in the body, then if you're feeling hot and sweaty, then cold showers will help. If you're feeling acidity or gastritis, because of that, slow breathing or deep breathings will help that. And moreover, most importantly is, how am I looking at these thoughts? Just start disassociating from those thoughts. Just put those thoughts in front of you and look at them. The moment you disassociate from those thoughts, the feelings also subside. I mean, it will start reducing, and your body also starts getting calmer. So the first thing that you can ask yourself is, what can I do instead of feeling anxious? What can I do instead of being depressed? What can I do instead of feeling this fear? What is that I can think differently? How I can think differently? I think the moment we change that, then the feelings also starts changing, and the way your body is responding to it also starts changing. So if I ask you, many of them come and say, I'm feeling very low, I'm feeling depressed, and then the only question that I ask is, okay, what do you want to think instead of feeling depressed? What do you want to think instead of feeling anxious? What do you want to think differently? So this gives a starter point on to how can I also react differently, or how I can have different behavioral choices. So in case you have a COVID positive patient at home or at your neighborhood, the first thing starts with, okay, how I can think or react to this differently, or what are the different behavioral choices I can have. The moment you have a choice, your mind starts behaving in a different way. Try it out. I think that will work. Yeah, I think.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am.
Yeah.
Next question to Vinay sir. It's from Shashank as well as Srishti. Srishti, the current affairs part, what you have asked, we have answered it earlier. So Shashank and Srishti ask us how ethics in mains. Over to you, Vinay.
So, what is the question? Like how to prepare ethics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is both easy and difficult question to answer. For mains, like there have been videos which I have already made with respect to how to write answers. But how to prepare for ethics? If you analyze the trends of the question papers from 2013 to 2019, in ethics paper, there has been more than 60% emphasis on the second part of the syllabus. That is after emotional intelligence. If you are familiar with the topic, after emotional intelligence, whatever topics are there, so 60%. Now, even the case studies also, out of 6, nearly 5 case studies are related to that governance part, administration, and public service values part, corruption, RTA, and all those related issues, citizen charters. So what you need to do is that focus more on that second part. You can divide those topics. All topics actually require less than 2 hours or around 1 hour of your time to prepare small notes. For example, citizen charters or RTI might require around 2 hours to prepare short notes from the ethics viewpoint. So the guide is best for segregate questions from past years. First, prepare notes only for the questions that are already asked in 2013 to 2019 mains. So that will, if you look at 2019 paper, many questions in section A, out of 13 questions, nearly 7 questions are actually repeated as it is from last 5 years, except the quote-based questions, which there are 3 questions like that. And only these 3 questions are actually related to the first half, the thinker's part and the actual core moral philosophy. Usually aspirants try to start with the first part of the syllabus, first topic, ethics and human interface, and by the time they reach attitude part, there is already so much notes and so much of information. You feel like not doing enough for the second part. So best way is to start from the second part, be perfect with it. You can easily answer 60%. And the sources are ARC report, second ARC report, and if you just search how to prepare ethics paper for UPSC, you will get an article posted by Insights IAS. So there is one detailed article, links given for each and every subtopic that is there in the syllabus. So you don't have to search for the topics also. The second part, already the content is given, just extract it from and make small notes and parallelly go on answering the previous question, and that is the best way. It hardly takes in 2 to 3 hours every day, and if you can do it for around say 30 to 40 days, nearly half the syllabus can be completed. So before prelims, let your focus be on completion of second part of the syllabus plus answering the previous year questions, which we have actually included in the Insta revision plan 2. Yes, Paresh.
Thank you, sir. Next question is for Sudeep sir. This question is from Abhishek. How can I integrate my studies with Insta initiatives? Should I make notes from the ICANN initiative, which we have started recently? And also, I would like to club this question with one question asked by Vaishnavi. She has prepared her optional only once, and she has revised all the basic books, but she is unable to study more than 11 hours, and she wants to maximize her output or her productivity. Over to you, Sudeep sir.
Thank you, Faris. So the first thing is I'll try to tell about the optional. If a person has already finished the optional once completely, then I think this month, the July month, they can spend on rereading the same optional again. All right, that is completely fine. So what they can do is they don't have to go for other sources, but use the same source and re-revise and reread whatever they have done. Right. So that would be a good strategy with respect to the optional case. What they can do is after every chapter gets over, since they are doing it for the second time, they can just analyze the previous year questions on that particular chapter and then get a fair idea of how well have they studied about the chapter. It's just that don't try to overdo things and try to get many sources and read it. Whatever you have done, try to reread the same thing so that you just finish one more round of reading by the end of this month. So that then you can focus exclusively on the prelims preparation. And coming to the other question, where Abhishek, I think Abhishek has asked like what to do with respect to the notes making of current insights initiatives, that is current affairs, right, Paris?
I can.
Yeah, I can initiative. Yes. See, don't spend too much time, but yes, note making is good. Try to make the notes as crisp as possible. Don't try to elaborate more on it. As Imanshu sir has already told you, how you can make notes is you try to make notes in A4 sheets, and whenever you make notes, try to file it under a topic which it falls under. Like in GS1 syllabus, whichever bullet point that it falls under. So let the current affairs usually go, and you keep filing it that way. But don't spend too much time and make it very elaborative. Let it be very crisp so that you can revise it again and again. So I think making notes is important, but make sure that you do it smartly. Don't try to replicate the entire thing in your notes, but only the important things should come in your notes. So that's about it, Paris.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Sunita. Even Shankar has asked a similar question, and this question is for Tanmay sir. Hello, sir. For prelims, while revising it for second or third time, division of test series, is it enough, or do we need to revise static portion also every time? Over to you, Tanmay sir.
Thank you, Faris, for the question. Actually, the student must revise the both revise static and current affairs also. They should not neglect the static things. What usually happens is they get a lot of content out of current affairs, so they keep on focusing on the current affairs, neglecting the static things. So if you analyze last 4 to 5 years paper or last 7 years paper, there will be questions from the static, like at least 40 to 60 questions are from the static syllabus itself. So they need to be, actually those questions are relatively easy questions. So if they commit mistake in those questions, they have to compensate the wrong thing from the current affairs part. So it's both static and current affairs should go hand in hand, and they should not commit mistake in very basic question, like questions on president, questions on parliament, or questions on ecosystem, something like that. So they need to be very strong in the basics that refers to static, and along with that they should concentrate on the current affairs. While concentrating on the current affairs doesn't mean that they read each and every concept line to line. All the concepts are not relatively important. They might be important, but they are not relatively important. They must choose the topic wisely through analyzing the previous year papers and identify the topic and identify the core dimensions out of it. So, and they have to revise the identified concepts again and again. So that should be the strategy.
Thank you, Tanmay sir. Next question is from Syed Ali. He says that my interest is in PSIR as an optional, but I took geography as I found it easy to write in points rather than in paragraph, especially regarding part A of the paper 1 of PSIR. It is confusing sometimes. My background is in engineering and I have studied geography as an optional. So this question I directed to Ashish sir. He has confusion regarding optional. Over to you, Ashish sir.
Thank you, Tanmay sir. Saeed, if we consider this paper 1 of geography, it mainly deals with the human geography and physical geography part. Now, if you analyze the past 5-year papers and the result orientation with respect to geography optional, the results are not so good of geography. So along with the interest, I would like you to see how this geography is going on. So I would like you to give a suggestion to rethink with respect to geography, because geography takes a lot of time for preparation also, and the amount of input which you put and the amount of output which you get with respect to the preparation of geography is not very promising. So I would like you to think upon it. But despite that, if you are so much interested, then studying for paper 1 needs a application and holistic understanding of the subjects, like especially for human geography. You need to read 2 or 3 books like R.D. Dikshit and Majid Hussain sir's book along with Savindra Singh. And if you read that and drawing multiple diagrams and giving application of that static concepts to the contemporary aspects will show you the interlinkage between the topics. And this way you can deal with the geography optional paper 1 especially. So I hope I answered your question. So I hand over to then Faris.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Vanishka. She says that what source should be followed for medieval from yesterday, but I can't filter out what is important and what not. So I'll answer this question. So since you have started Satish Chandra NCRTs, so for medieval India as well as for ancient India, you finish off the NCRTs. Those are the basic books. Okay, and after that, along with that, you have to do Tamil Nadu class 11th, Tamil Nadu history class 11th. That is both ancient and medieval India, which is very good for facts which have been asked for prelims. But if you see the pattern of last 2 years prelims, the questions have not been, most of the questions have not been come from either Satish Chandra or Tamil Nadu history. What I suggest along with this is you solve the test series, test papers of Insights IAS regarding ancient and medieval India. So these test papers serve as a supplement to your basic books such as your NCRTs and your Tamil Nadu history. Along with that, you can supplement it through Insta revision plan, which we already had one and one more is going on. So this will give you a strong hold on that subject, because ancient and medieval is too vast and the number of questions is a little bit moderate. So you cannot spend too much time on that. So you have to keep your sources minimum, but solve a considerable amount of questions so that it helps you at least get the answers right by elimination method in the actual exam. Next question is by Tamanna. I want to direct it to Himanshu. It's regarding essay. She asked that, is it necessary to state my stance in the beginning itself, or in the beginning of the essay itself while writing essay, or can I go to justify both sides and then give my stance towards conclusion? Over to you, Himanshu.
It's hello. Yeah, Faris, thank you. Regarding taking instance in starting in essay is advisable, but it is advisable with respect to, like, when you are writing introduction, after introduction we call it thesis statement. In thesis statement, at least you should show that what will be your flow and what will be your instance in that, and then you should go writing about it. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you should not write about the counter argument. You should also mention about the counter arguments. Maybe after justifying the about your instance and giving arguments regarding your instance, in the end you can write about the counter arguments as well. So definitely you should take instant in the starting, but do not forget to mention the counter arguments. Over to you, Faris.
Thank you, Himanshu. Next question is regarding anthropology optional. I direct it towards Suhas. Hello, sir. As of now, this question is from Raju. Raju says, as of now, I have started preparing my optional anthropology. How many hours should I give for optional, and what should be the approach without taking coaching?
Okay. Hi, Raju. I think this question has already been answered by Himanshu sir on the question and answer. Anyways, I will reiterate it. For optional, as of now, considering there are about 80 odd days for the prelims, I'd suggest you to put in about 4 hours every day for the next 45 days. So the approach here would be to basically understand the topics and start off and try and cover at least one paper as of now in these 40 days. I'd suggest paper 2 would be easier for you to start off with and finish it off. And if possible, if you are left if you're still left with some more time, then I'd suggest go in with the physical anthropology part also in these 45 days. Then post prelims, you can cover the remaining part of the paper 1. And while you are studying in these 4 hours every day, put about 3 hours for studying and about 1 hour to answer at least 1 or 2 questions. Try and answer those questions, those questions related to the concepts which you read in a particular day, right? So take the questions from the previous year question papers itself and keep writing it. So maybe you can send over the answers also to us. We can have a look at it and guide you as to how to go about it, right? So I think that answers the question. Over to you, Faris.
Thank you, Suhas sir. Next question is from Bindu Manisha. Manisha says that I am facing difficulty in studying and remembering the international relations. What should be my strategy? And this question will be answered by Shashank sir.
Hi Bindu, I'm hoping you're doing good. Here basically for prelims, what you can focus is through international relations, questions will directly come from your organizations and regional groupings and any international initiatives that have happened. All right. So focus on that and give a preference more on whatever India is a member of, or has India taken any initiative. For example, something might come up with COVID also, many countries forming a grouping. So that can be one thing. All right. With respect to current affairs, if you see the countries which are in news are Nepal and China mainly. All right. So questions can be expected from this. So try to identify the issues which are in news and try to read about that rather than simply reading it. All right. For example, when you come to mains, there will be 4 questions with IR. And in that, again, 2 questions will be from groupings, 1 from neighborhood and 1 from your India and any major country. All right. So try to read accordingly. Focus on India, Nepal, India, China, and other countries which are in the news. So if you have any other queries, you can leave a text there. All right. Thank you.
Next question is from Srishti, and this question is directed towards our mentor from Delhi, Pratibha ma'am. So Srishti asks how to approach questions based on critically examined in current affairs mains question. Over to you, Pratibha ma'am. I think we are not connected with Pratibha ma'am. Shailesh sir, could you answer this question, please? How to approach questions based on critically examined in current affairs mains question?
Yeah, sure. So when they give the directive as critically examine, they're basically looking at critical here means you have to consider all aspects of a particular question. If they have given a statement, to what extent that statement is correct. If you can agree or disagree with the statement, you have to write arguments on both sides. And in the conclusion, you may have to take a stand on to what extent the given statement is right. Usually critically examine questions, you don't need to always agree with the statement, whatever they have given. You may disagree with it also, but you have to substantiate clearly why you disagree with that statement. Or even if you agree with it, to what extent you agree. More often than not, what happens is, in such questions, the statement is not completely true, neither it is completely false. We will give evidence like facts and examples, and we will show to what extent it is true. And in conclusion, we state the same. Using all the evidence that we have given in the body of the answer, in conclusion, we will say that to this extent it is true. However, it is not completely true because of such and such reasons. So that would be sufficient for getting decent marks in such questions.
The next question is a very interesting and inquisitive one. A student says, "Hi Vinay sir, every year you guess what should be focused more, like you did in 2016, 2017. You mentioned to focus more on current affairs more. But in these uncertain times, what would be your prediction for this year? What should we focus on more this year?" So Vinay sir will answer this question now.
It is actually very difficult to predict, but based on previous year trend and based on what is happening in and around the country, we can make sense of where UPSC will focus more on. If you watched my previous videos, I have told you that the usual trend of UPSC is to ask questions on such issues or topics which have a real impact on society, economy, and culture. So we are witnessing so many issues. Especially the government has come up with many economic packages, reforms because of the downturn. You will have to, I think, focus more on the economy side from the current affairs perspective. So don't ignore. So go through summary of current affairs, economic survey, and all the government schemes related. Definitely give weightage because last year the weightage was not much on government schemes. So this year they might focus on that. At the same time, if you really want to score really good marks, always you will have to be good with the static part. So static part, if you are really good with static part, 40 to 50 question you can easily get right. Right, even current affairs questions are sometimes linked with the static part. So first, be thorough with static. Within static, I think we cannot exactly predict, but we will have to study each and every topic with equal weightage. But within that, environment, because forest service is also integrated with that. Plus polity, especially polity, the conceptual question you must be very clear with. So within polity, if you have seen that the chapters on parliament, judiciary, and fundamental rights are really important. Don't just go through entire Lakshmi Kant. Coming back to the trend, more I think will be towards current affairs. That too within that more of economy related, and to some extent environment related. Be thorough with them.
Next question. There are a lot of questions here regarding our test series. Many students are asking, will we be starting mains test series, especially related to essay, and also they are also asking about when are we? How will be the booster classes provided? Will it be offline, online, or recorded session? So this will be answered by our course director Mansa ma'am.
Okay. These booster classes will be live as well as recorded. It will be an online access only, considering the restrictions that which will not be lifted in the near future. So the booster classes will be online. It will be live as well as recorded. However, if the lockdown in Bangalore is going to be very strict, and if it is getting difficult for faculties to go to the classroom and give the classes, probably we'll have to end up giving only recorded classes. However, we are trying our best to give live as well as recorded as of now. Plus, one more thing is there will not be any other prelims test series or separate prelims tests for booster classes. Please utilize subject-wise test series, textbook-based, as well as PTS that is given to you all. And you do not have to worry about the mains test series as of now. Continue following the free initiatives that is being given on Insights on India. The mains test series will be given after prelims.
Thank you, Mansa ma'am. So I hope we have answered most of our questions that were asked. Some questions which were repeated were clubbed together and asked. Some questions were answered via text by our mentors and faculties. And I hope this session has proven to be useful and effective. But most importantly, I hope this has motivated you, because most of the questions which I saw here was regarding motivation and focus. And undoubtedly, these are unprecedented and tough times what we have seen. But what I believe is, led by Vinay sir, we can overcome this together as a team, because that's what makes us special. As I told at the starting of this webinar, the desire to excel and the commitment to overcome all the obstacles in our life, whatever, whether it is professional or personal. So I would now hand over to Vinay sir to address you few final words before we wrap it up. And regarding the questions which are not answered or which might have been left out due to the paucity of time, you can always reach out to your mentors, or you can always mail us, and we are always here for you guys. Over to you, Vinay sir.
Thank you, Paris. It was a wonderful session. Thank you all for participating in it. Just remember that whenever you need any kind of help, any kind of assistance, any kind of support, we are all together in this. So don't hesitate to mail us, message us anytime with respect to your studies or with respect to anything that you are going through. And even if we are not staying in Bangalore, wherever we are staying, we will try to help you as much as we can. It is just that you will have to approach us. We will always support you till the end. We definitely want to see you succeed in this examination. We want you to get the rank. So collectively, as a team, we have ourselves experienced all the pains that you as an aspirant goes through day in and day out. So having realized the kind of pains that you experience, we know how to respond, and we want to respond to those issues. But having said that, I always believe that being very optimistic, being very positive, and being very calm, whatever be the circumstances, will help us reach our goals. So by it is a magic, staying relaxed. It's very difficult to do that, looking at the things around you. But it doesn't matter whether your neighbor is a COVID patient or within family somebody, God forbid, if somebody gets that thing. So don't get affected by anything, whatever be the circumstances in your home. It may be financial insecurity, it may be job insecurity, it may be pressure to marry, it may be domestic violence, it may be past baggage. You people, so many of you carry that failure as a very huge burden on your shoulders. Just discard it immediately. 2020 or 2021, whichever attempt you are focusing on, treat it as your one and only attempt with with new energy, with new focus, new happiness, and you have every tool to succeed in this examination. It is not like before 2000 or before 2010 when nobody had access to online sources, nobody had access to Zoom, nobody could ever meet any mentor, ask any question, a test series, everything you have actually. What is just required is your willingness, your strong determination to study, using all the tools available at your disposal. So that can ultimately come from within. I don't see why anything should disturb you when you have access to each and everything which can actually make you a topper, despite all the uncertainties that are going around you. All that is required is within you. Think over it, introspect, and anything that you say is an excuse at the end of the day, right? So as a human, you have so much of potential, and keep going. Even I am in a family, I am in a house with small kid, and so many people around here. We keep doing things we need to do because it's not just the money; it is the passion also. We want to see you succeed. Like if you have seen our messages, if you have seen, if you have ever spoke to me on phone call, all these we don't do it for monetary gain or anything. It is kind of a mission for us to see you succeed. So when somebody is there to support you constantly behind your back, you have seen all mentors are wonderful. Everyone is grounded, everyone is humble, everyone is approachable. So we understand, being simple, being approachable, and being humble really makes a huge difference. We don't do it intentionally out of conscious effort, but it is who we are, and we want the same from your side. When you are like that, you will achieve your goal. So wish you all the best, and we will definitely come again, and we will have another Zoom session. It was really wonderful speaking to you people, and such a positivity everybody has. Thank you, Faris, for carrying this very smoothly. And thank you all our faculty, all our mentors, especially our team from Delhi and Hyderabad, for being part of this session. So we are all in this together, and everywhere India, every part of India, we have students. We have been guiding them, and thank you for your support, students especially. And despite all the stress you have, you came today and chose to be part of this discussion. Hope it was useful. Make use of it, and wish you all the best for booster classes. And eventually we'll come again. Before that, again, once again, I want to wish that you are going to clear prelims. Okay, you are definitely going to clear prelims in this attempt. Just whatever tools we are giving, make use of them. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. So we'll stop, Faris. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.